valedictorian is selected by the graduating class to speak on their behalf and reflect on their collective years together at Victoria Park. I've had the privilege of working beside the student with the Student Leadership Council, as well as see her excel in her athletic endeavors over the years. I present to you your valedictorian for 2024, Brooke Shin Lai.
Good afternoon, students and families, distinguished staff members, and Mr. Shaw. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your patience in having sat through the commencement ceremony so far, and I'm grateful to have your attention. Earlier in the year, I remember sitting with my friends during lunch when I had an epiphany that I'm sure most of you have had as well. This was our final year in high school. Our last chance to make memories and experience life as a teenager before we all said goodbye. So feeling all bittersweet and melancholic, I unironically tell my friends, wow, I really love this place. Why would anyone look forward to leaving here? It's so perfect, I don't want anything to change. My friend Frances was sitting to my right. She says nothing but gives me the dirtiest side eye I have ever seen in my entire life. My other friend Sugamiya is sitting in front of me, and she tells me to respectfully shut up. And then I look around at the scene I'm sitting in during that moment. There's a tile falling off the ceiling to my right, spilled chocolate milk somewhere on the floor to my left, and a bunch of kids in the hallway across trying to set the school on fire with 2 twigs. Okay, I get it. Judging from face value, high school may not be the best place to be. You've seen it in movies, and you've experienced it yourself. The pressure, the drama, and the insincerity. One day we were in middle school playing tag with our friends at recess, and the next we started caring what other people thought of us. You went from crying over lost Pokemon cards to crying because you failed your math test for the 3rd time. That was me. The girl you used to be friends with starts talking behind your back, and the guy you used to play video games with starts playing with girls instead. High school was just a blur of overpriced lunches, endless classes, and drama that you didn't want to deal with. But let's take a step back. I'm sure there are a lot of good memories amidst the not so good ones, and I think we have a lot to be grateful for here. Because at the very least, we have access to washrooms every other business day. But despite all that, I would still say that high school has been one of the most amazing things to happen to me in my life so far. These first glance things, like student success rates or popularity and reputation, don't always determine our experiences. Living is a lot more complicated, and it's impossible to define a person based on a few quality indicators. And yet, we do that anyway, constantly comparing our school to others, our friends to others, our families to others, and ourselves to others, when oftentimes experiences are incomparable. We base our entire self-worth on our grades and begin to doubt ourselves whenever we get even a point off on a test. We disrespect ourselves just to gain the approval of others who don't care about us, just to feel like we fit in. We stress and stress over university offers, recognition awards, levels of attractiveness. Why are they snapping me back? To the point where we let these insecurities take over our lives. But the reality is, and I will hold your hand when I say this, 1, nobody cares, except you, because everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves. And 2, life is so much more than letting a few titles and numbers define who you are. When you look back on your high school memories, you're not going to think, wow, I wish I got the chemistry award. Instead, you're going to think about how much chemistry you had with that one friend in the back of the class who made you laugh harder than you thought was humanly possible. You're not going to look back and think, damn it, our sports team sucked. Why did we have to lose that one game? Instead, you're going to remember how much fun you had practicing with your team, and how good it felt to see yourself improve. Similarly, I'm not going to look back in high school and remember being valedictorian. I'm going to look back in high school and remember the free breakfast program. So don't worry too much about that one thing you think is going to ruin your entire life, because it won't. No one cares, and that's a good thing. Maybe we can focus more on gaining experiences and living life how we want, not necessarily becoming rich and famous or CEO of some big company, but staying true to ourselves and liking who we are. It's important to cherish what we have now, our friends, our families, our school as it is, before we get carried away with what ifs. There are a million reasons to love high school. I loved seeing the sunset over the field after dance practice, and the butterflies I felt when the curtains opened and the stage lights turned on. I loved SLC and having a bunch of teenagers step into my apartment at 6 a.m. trying to make tongkulus in time for lunch. I loved Camp Tamarack. I loved packing t-shirts in the office and sneaking out the cabins at night. Sorry, Mr. Ellis. I loved screaming my lungs out at semi-formal. I loved eating lunch in the vast hallway and reconnecting with old friends. I loved the brief second of eye contact with a teammate before I threw a ball, or touching the wall after a race and hearing the entire swim team cheer our names. I loved when classes ended early and we'd all just joke around and watch soccer. I loved pulling harmless pranks on my friends and laughing at them because they had to deal with it. I loved it when the cafeteria served spaghetti. I loved Friday Mondays. I loved crying on my friends' shoulders and stressing before an exam. And I really, really, really loved the free breakfast program. Everyone here comes from different backgrounds and experiences, but the one thing we have in common is that we're all growing up. We will continue to change into people our current selves will no longer recognize, and we will graduate from lunchtimes with our friends, just like we graduated from coloring books and playing tag at recess. But before that happens, I want you to know that to someone in this room, you are what home feels like. You are what they will remember when they look back on high school in their mid-40s, when they have a car or a house, not both in this economy, when their wrinkles settle in and their hairline starts receding, and their teenage kids start talking back to them, just like we did. Before we leave the venue today, I'd like us all to have an opportunity to thank everyone who has been a part of our lives for the past 4 years. I want you to think of your friends, the ones you counted on not to study for tests because you didn't want to either, the ones with whom you could have deep conversations with 1 minute and laugh about something stupid the next, the ones who made every day an adventure, even if it was just going to McDonald's after school. I want you to thank them for sticking by your side and defining what you will one day come to know as the good old days. I want you to think of someone you liked, or someone who liked you. A relationship, a situationship, a friend crush. Maybe you're together today. Congratulations. Maybe you're not. Either way, I want you to thank them for making your life more beautiful and allowing you the opportunity to learn more about yourself. I want you to think of someone you really didn't like. A friend who let you down and drifted away. An ex you'll never forgive. Classmates who ridiculed you or made you question your self-worth. Or just someone you found to be really annoying. It's not that deep. Despite everything, I want you to thank them for making you stronger, teaching you patience, and I want you to wish them well in their future lives. I want you to think of the classmates you didn't really talk to. The girl who occasionally helped you with math, the guy you had funny conversations with but never really got to know, and the people you might be seeing today for the very last time. Perhaps you regret having not spoken to them before, but despite that, I want you to thank them for being a part of your high school experience. I want you to think of the adults who have supported you for the past 2 years, your parents, families, teachers, coaches, mentors, people who believed in you more than you believed in yourself. I want you to thank them for supporting you, pushing you to become the person you are today, and molding the high school memories that you'll remember fondly tomorrow. Most importantly, I would like you to thank yourself for having carried you through every life experience, every mistake, every heartbreak, every lesson that has shaped you into the person you are today. It's almost done, I promise. In 10 years, when we miraculously happen to be buying groceries at the same grocery store, or end up sitting next to each other on the same bus, please don't be a stranger. Ask me about my day or what I do for work, and I'll tell you about how much you changed since the last time I saw you. And when that day comes, and we reminisce about our time together here at Victoria Park Collegiate Institute, I hope we smile, knowing that we were able to experience this beautiful and outlandish phenomenon that we call high school. My name is Brooke, and once again, I thank you for your time.
That was beautiful, Brooke, although that